Have you ever wondered why some people become fluent in English in just 6 months while you've been stuck at the same level for years? Why does your neighbour who moved to an English speaking country sound like a native, but you still struggle to order coffee in English after 3 years of studying? Here's the thing, it's not about talent, it's not about intelligence, and it's definitely not about how much money you're spending on courses. There's something else going on here, and today I'm going to reveal exactly what it is. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mr. English Teacher, and if you're watching this, chances are you've tried everything. Apps, textbooks, tutors, YouTube videos, and you're still not where you want to be with your English. Well, you're in the right place because what I'm about to share is going to completely shift your perspective on how language learning actually works. But first, smash that subscribe button because we're about to dive deep into the science of learning English the right way. So let's start with a reality check. According to research, the average person needs around 360 hours of focused study to reach a conversational level in English. That's B1 level, where you can hold a basic, reasonably confident conversation. 360 hours sounds like a lot, right? That's like watching every episode of Friends 15 times. But here's where it gets interesting. Some people reach that level in 6 months, while others are still struggling after 5 years. What's the difference? The difference isn't how many hours you're putting in, it's what you're doing during those hours. And this is where most English learners get it completely wrong. They're focused on the wrong things, wasting their time on methods that simply don't work for real fluency. Let me ask you something. When you study English, what do you actually do? Let me guess. You memorize vocabulary lists, you do grammar exercises. Maybe you use an app like Duolingo where you're translating sentences back and forth. And sure, you feel productive, you feel like you're learning, but then you try to have a real conversation and nothing comes out. Your mind goes blank. All those words you memorized, they've completely disappeared. Sound familiar? Here's why that happens. Your brain isn't a filing cabinet where you just store information and pull it out when you need it. Your brain learns through patterns, through context, through actual use. When you memorize a word in isolation, your brain has no idea when or how to use it. But when you learn that same word by hearing it in 10 different conversations, in 10 different contexts, your brain creates a web of connections. It knows exactly when to pull that word out because it's seen it in action. This is backed up by actual research. Language experts have found that the most effective way to learn a language is through what's called comprehensible input combined with active use. That's a fancy way of saying consume content you mostly understand and then actually use what you're learning in real situations, not flashcards, not translation exercises, real input and real output. Now, let me tell you something that might surprise you. Children under the age of 11 who are immersed in an English-speaking environment can become fluent in about 6 months. 6 months. Meanwhile, adults studying English for years are still stuck. Why? Because kids aren't worried about grammar rules. They're not translating in their heads. They're just absorbing the language through constant exposure and using it without fear of making mistakes. And here's the kicker. You can replicate that same immersion environment right now, wherever you are in the world, without spending thousands of dollars or moving to another country. The internet has completely changed the game. You have access to unlimited English content, real conversations, native speakers, all at your fingertips. The question is, are you using it the right way? Let me break down what actually works. First, you need a good range of vocabulary and grammar, but not the way you think. You don't need to memorize lists. You need to encounter words and grammar structures naturally, in context, over and over again until they become automatic. Think about the word get. How many different ways can you use it? Get up, get down, get going, get it, get lost, get a job, get married. You didn't learn all those by memorizing definitions. You learned them by hearing them used in real situations. Second, pronunciation. Here's something that's going to take the pressure off. You don't need to sound like a native speaker. I'm serious. The goal isn't to fool people into thinking you grew up in London or New York. The goal is to be clear, to be understood, and to communicate effectively. Some of the most successful English speakers in the world have strong accents, and nobody cares because they communicate clearly and confidently. Third, and this is the game changer, you need to shift from passive learning to active learning. Watching English videos is great, but if that's all you're doing, you're only getting half the benefit. You need to engage with the language. Repeat what you hear. Shadow native speakers. Talk to yourself in English. Yes, I said talk to yourself. It sounds crazy, but it works because you're training your brain to produce English, not just recognize it. Here's a practical challenge I want you to try. For the next 30 days, commit to just 15 minutes a day of active English practice. Not scrolling through grammar rules, not translating sentences. I'm talking about watching a video in English and repeating what you hear out loud. Having a conversation with ChatGPT. Recording yourself speaking about your day. Describing what you see around you in English. Just 15 minutes of active, engaged practice. Research shows that consistent daily practice, even in small doses, is way more effective than cramming for hours once a week. Your brain needs regular exposure to form those neural pathways. It's like going to the gym. You can't work out for 10 hours on Saturday and expect to get fit. You need consistent, regular practice. Now, I want to address something important. A lot of you are learning English because you need it for work, for travel, for immigration, for better opportunities. And that's amazing. English really is like a passport. It opens doors all over the world. But here's what nobody tells you. The reason you're learning matters way more than you think. If you're learning English just because someone told you to, or because you think you should, you're going to struggle. But if you have a real personal reason, you want to travel the world, you want that dream job, you want to connect with people from different cultures, you want to access information that's only available in English, then you're going to push through the hard moments. Motivation is the fuel that keeps you going when grammar gets confusing and pronunciation feels impossible. So before we wrap up, I want you to do something. Pause this video for a second and think about why you're really learning English. Not the surface reason, but the deep, personal reason. What will speaking fluent English allow you to do that you can't do right now? Hold on to that. Write it down. Because on those days when you want to give up, that reason is going to pull you through. And here's my promise to you. If you commit to 15 minutes of active practice every single day, if you focus on comprehensible input and real use instead of just memorizing rules, if you let go of the fear of making mistakes and just start speaking, you're going to see massive progress in the next 3 months. Not perfect fluency, but real noticeable improvement that will motivate you to keep going. Drop a comment below and tell me your why. Why are you learning English? What's the real reason? I read every comment and I want to hear your story. And if this video opened your eyes to a better way of learning, hit that like button and share it with someone who's frustrated with their English progress. Let's help each other out. Remember, fluency isn't about being perfect. It's about being confident, being clear, and being willing to make mistakes along the way. You've got everything you need right now to become fluent. You just need to use it the right way. All right, my friend, I'll see you in the next video. Keep practicing, keep pushing, and never stop believing in yourself. Your English breakthrough is coming.